Are we good? Are we good? Okay, everybody, glad to see everybody out tonight. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you would, please join us with the doing Pledge of Allegiance. I'll skip that. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, I got next to just a couple updates. Not much. Just want to remind everybody to come to the October Ask the Mayor. We'd love to have you there. You can join myself and Councilman Jeff Vandry over to my left here on October the 21st from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Cox Hall at the Clemson Little Theater to discuss all things Pendleton. Also, just like to mention, speaking of that, the community center had a great turnout for the Read and Rise event I went to. That was a really nice event. Really enjoyed going to that. And of course, I look forward to seeing everyone downtown at the Fall Festival, October 25th. And coming up on the 18th, we're going to have a town-wide cleanup. So we'd love to have you help us with that if you have time. And I guess that takes care of updates. Next thing we got is approval of minutes. So having said that, is there any changes that need to be made? If not, do we have a motion to approve as presented?
Motion to approve is presented.
Okay, have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. All right, the motion carries unanimous. All right, next we have public comments. There's a 3-minute time limit on it, and you have to be a property owner, business owner, or resident of the town of Pendleton speaking public comments. Having said all that, and if you do come up to speak, we need you to state your name and address, even if we know who you are, and we probably do. So having said that, yeah, come on, like you're headed this way. That's good.
Hi, I'm Linda Saborski, 1200 Cherry Street Extension. I'm here actually first to address Town Council on item 6H and to represent Village Hills, the Village Hills apartment complex for Mr. Penna. He couldn't be here tonight, and so he asked me to read this letter that he had sent to the Planning Commission, and he'd asked if I could read it to Town Council also. So,
What was his name? What was the guy's name, Mr. Who?
Stuart Penna. Okay. He says, Dear Town, well, he actually sent this in September to the Planning Commission, and he asked if I would read it to Town Council. He says, just a couple of days ago, I received a copy of your agenda referencing a major change to the adjacent property that is connected to our townhome community known as Villages at Town Creek. When we purchased the townhomes in 2022, we were presented with documentation stating that only 78 single-family cottage design and style homes would be built behind our property. This next phase would also include green space and amenities, and that it would solely be for sale single-family home development. Part of the plat indicates the commercial portion of the PDMU was designated to front Lebanon Road. We reserve the right to retain that option. We are in favor of a site plan made up entirely of for sale detached single-family cottage-style homes. We strongly object to the proposed changes of increased density and rental product. We welcome the opportunity to speak with you or others from the Planning Commission about these issues. If you have any questions or required additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me or our attorney, Mr. Massengale from Galvin White and Boyd directly, Stuart Penna. He also sent me an email and asked me to let you all know that his rental property is down considerably this year. he is about 20% vacant at his apartment complex. So I told him I'd give it a try. So can I stand, just stay here then and to read what I want to say?
You go ahead, Ms. Fine.
Okay. Let me add that to your information.
This is more, this, I think
Oh,
you gave me that
sorry.
by mistake.
All right. So Linda Samborski, 1200 Cherry Street Extension. I'm here to also address the same item on the agenda. I wanted to say that according to State Code 629-740, development provisions of a PDMU must encourage innovative site planning for residential, commercial, institutional, and industrial development within the planned development district. Although several parcels that comprise this PDMU are owned by different individuals, it has always been the town and state's intention to have one cohesive development that meets mandates of the state. Town Creek Apartment Complex meets both the mixed residential criteria and commercial requirements. Ordinance number 0809 allows for retail establishments to be facing Lebanon Road. There were pads poured and descriptive documents provided, and is currently owned by the villages, the villages at Town Creek Apartments. Ordinance number 0809 also addressed changes for housing to single-family homes for Phase 1B, which actually is tax map number 63, whatever -007. The descriptive statement of that change called for decreased density to 78 cottage-style single-family homes with ingress and egress through villages at Town Creek Apartments. Ordinance number 09-14 annexed the Cherry Street Extension parcel and zoned it also PDMU. Ordinance number 10-02 documents the establishment of the gardens at Town Creek for the Cherry Street Extension parcel as senior living, fulfilling the last remaining requirements of the Pendleton PDMU. These are not just wishes of our community, but established ordinances. We ask Town Council to support the Planning Commission's recommendation to deny the major change that is being requested. There are solutions available to satisfy all parties if the developer were agreeable. I would like to add an important note here, please. The community surrounding these parcels, aside from the apartment complex, consists entirely of unrestricted county farmlands and sparse rural residential homes that is predominantly senior citizens. These residents are not opposed to development of these parcels, but suggest that with the increased senior population, it would be advantageous to all to create a quiet, independent senior community in this area. We ask the developer to consider that option.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Samborski. Anyone else like to make a comment? Okay.
My name's Alex Samborski. I live at 1200 Cherry Street Extension. Coincidentally, that's the same address that she's at. Wonderful how a plan works out. I was doing some reading recently, and I need to have some attention paid to State Code 6-29-760. The introductory comments to this session indicate who may speak. And I don't know if that means throughout the entire session, or if that's just limited describing who may speak at the public comments section. But state regulation says that if any applicant has an opportunity to speak before the town council, that adjacent property owners are supposed to be afforded the same time, opportunity, and forum to speak to their proposal. And we've not been doing that. I've not known of that being available. And I don't know if that's current code, but I'll be researching it further to make sure that I'm reading that correctly. If any of you are aware of where I'm in error, certainly would like you to point that out now and save me some bother.
This is just for comments. This is comment.
This is just for comments.
It's your comment.
I've never heard you afford anyone the opportunity to speak relative to an applicant's or after an applicant's dissertation.
It's simply a comment session.
This is the comment section. I understand it's
So you
available
can-
to the
you can
public.
Give us any comments.
And
For 3 minutes.
I've no means to bring up the topic later because I can't offer a point of order because I'm not part of this meeting. I'm a public spectator, as I understand it. So my question is,
It's just for comments. It's not a question and answer. That's council rules.
no, I'm not expecting an answer. I'm just posing a question.
Okay.
So if anyone could care to comment later, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, Liz has voiced the same concerns I've had along. I encourage you to deliberate and make this the best decision possible. I'm sure there's a compromise that would afford everyone satisfaction in what's being proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comment. Anyone else like to make a comment?
I apologize for being tardy, but I would like to speak, please.
Yes, sir.
My name is Joey Black, and I live at 18 Karkinen Court. I would like to speak to the council and everyone else here. I was given the luxury, or maybe not so much if it actually goes through, because it's 8 years long, to volunteer to represent our area for the cat tax coming up November 4th. There's been quite a bit of misinformation.
So what next?
The cat tax
Okay.
for the roadway infrastructure tax coming up. There's been a lot of misinformation. Some could say propaganda, take it how you want, given out there. I was on the board that helped solidify this statute to make sure that every penny went to roadways and infrastructures. And I need for all of y'all's constituents to understand that every penny will go to that. This isn't something that's going to be given to the county and they can disperse as they want, like the transportation tax that was passed previously. What they did with our taxes, I cannot say. I do not know. What I can promise you is that every penny that it comes in, if this tax is passed, will go through or go towards, again, roadway infrastructure only. Of our tax dollars in Anderson County, over 70% goes towards schools. 27%, about 27% goes to city agencies running those in emergency services. 3% of our tax dollars goes to what people have been told as roads and bridges. Let me be clear. 3% goes to infrastructure. That is your drinking water, your sewer, and roads and bridges. After all of our sewer lines, the people that maintain them, our wastewater treatment plants, our water lines, our water treatment plants are taken care of. Less than 0.5%, less than half of a penny goes to roadways and infrastructure. That is to maintain and pay the people that maintain it. So we have a very large county. You think 0.5 cent of every dollar that comes in is going to take care of that? No. So that being said, we are in a situation right now where we are almost up to $400 million in disrepair. If we do not pass this tax, which is 8 years And the volunteers, myself and 5 others on the committee, met with Roads and Bridges, made the list. The list is what it is. That's the only thing the money can go towards. We meet when we have to make sure Roads and Bridges are on task to produce what we set together. I'm going to break it down like this for everybody in the crowd. God forbid we have another Hurricane Helene tomorrow, and all the school buses in Anderson County are wiped away, and it costs $400 million to replace them. This tax provides, with a study given for outsiders coming in for football games, our beautiful lakes and rivers, to the taxes collected would go towards this. That would be approximately $140 million that outsiders would pay. So you can vote for this tax and $260 million to replace the buses, which in this instance is our roads, we would pay for, and they would pay for $140 million. Or you can not sign this bill, and in 2029, the county's going to raise your taxes whether you want them to or not. And that is going to go into the county, and we all see where the money goes when it goes to the county. It doesn't have to be just for Roads and Bridges. So I highly recommend you inform yourself on this tax coming up and know that it is for the people, and it's by the people, making sure that it's for the people. And if anybody here has any questions, I've been told by the county it's probably not smart to just give out personal phone numbers and information, whatnot. Please reach out to your rep. They know how to get a hold of me. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that anyone might have in our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, maybe next.
Nancy Von Meyer, 404 Westminster Drive. I want to talk to the project, the Bruce parking lot. And I know that we are a year into this, so I apologize, but my concern is this is a pretty big package of information that came out. As a citizen, I only saw it on Thursday, so I'm assuming that you all have a lot deeper information than was presented in the packet. But I think that in order to be able to show this to businesses and citizens, because it's a lot of money for us to spend this much money, it's for our little town, and we want to get it spent right. So I had some questions on the bid package just for you to consider that I think jump out. When we look at the bids that came in, the bid that was next to the bid that was selected, when you add it up, there's only $4,000 difference between the two. And the bid from Laser Construction had a $200,000 mobilization cost. I wonder if there's any attempt to go back to them and find out why that mobilization cost was so high. It's nearly 10 times as high as all the others. Perhaps there's some negotiating space there. I'm also concerned about the spec that went into the EV lots. The EV, I 100% approve the EV spaces. We need to get some EV spaces. But why on one bid, the one that we look to accept, is at $48,000 to put in 2 parking lots. And from Laser Construction, it's $7,000. Same thing, same item, $40,000 difference in price. I question whether the engineers prepared a bid spec that clearly articulated what it was we're getting. And the other thing was the concrete versus the asphalt. We're comparing thin asphalt to thick concrete. What about thick asphalt? I mean, it seems kind of thing. We have paper thin asphalt as one option, and very thick concrete was the second EV2, the option 2. It seems like there might be some way to find some additional budget savings by going with just a thicker asphalt. And then on the way to raise the money for the overage, there were some projects that were selected. There's $125,000 in the Bruce parking lot improvement. Isn't that what this is, the Bruce parking lot improvement? Is that $125,000 included in the $760,000, or is that in addition? And if that's in addition, then you've got the overage covered. And I don't understand why the Veterans Park and Greenways and Trails are here as alternate appropriations. Are those here as options that you would cut to cover the additional money? That's not really clear. So I know that you all know a lot more than we do because we just get the packet, but I think there's a lot of questions about this bid package that as a citizen I'm concerned about. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on to, we'll go to a few reports here. We have the police department report, I believe, first from Chief Crosby.
Evening, Mayor, Council. Good to see everybody. Always enjoy following a good, lively public comment section. It's great. I feel like I'm just useless. So this past month in September, over 800 calls for service. It was a super busy month, but I wonder if I think it's because we added a few people. So now we are at full staff. We have our 10th person hired. That person, Mr. Thome, Thome, will be attending the academy. He started a pre-academy training this week. So hopefully we'll have him right after the first of the year and in the field training. So that's good. Let's see, we took 24 reports, 7 we cleared by arrest and or warrant service. 56 warning tickets were issued. 16 regular citations were issued. A lot of trying to get people to slow down and stuff around town, especially along Mechanic Street. I think we had about 30 traffic stops just along Mechanic. I know I had about 7 myself. Serious incidents from the month or keynote things. We did have 1 motorcycle fatality on US 76 right there at 187. We worked that along with the fire department. The department attended 1 homeowners association this month, and report from the fire department. I'm just going to read what I was given. Let's see, during September, fire department responded to 38 calls for service. 28 were within the town. 2 new members were certified to the highest interior firefighter level, were voted onto the department. 2 South Carolina Fire Academy courses are currently being taken by members within the department. So that's always good. 3 apparatus, along with 6 personnel, attended to the annual Riverside Middle School Slime Run. They also worked along with Sandy Springs Fire Department to host a walk and training at Michelin. 14 members of the fire department here in town attended that training as well. The Pendleton Fire Department is the 2nd station to be dispatched to this location for major incidents. So knowing what Tommy has said before, they're the number 2 station for Michelin and how big it is and stuff like that. Other than that, a lot of calls. We were really running around, super busy, but nothing super critical, which I can live with that every day, all day. So pending that, I'll take any questions and answer anything I can.
Chief, if
Yes,
you could
ma'am.
get a list of all the new officers, you've added a good number, and I don't know that I've met all of them. So if I could get a list of this, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
I'll stop you on the way home. Well, I guess I'm gonna be jaywalking, and that's how they're gonna get me? Yeah.
Have you met everybody except for Blake?
No.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll parade them and
You don't have to parade them, I just.
no, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it
I-
the
yeah,
embarrassing way.
When I see them downtown, I would just like to know, and go up and call them by name or ask their name and find that,
They will also respond to, hey, you, or any other.
But I'd like to be a little more respectful than hey, you, and it's a critical situation.
Some days those are good things. Like that's a good comment from somebody.
Yes,
We're looking for the yearbook where we can.
The yearbook?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yes.
Speaking of yearbook, next year will be actually 10 years the police department's been back. I was thinking about that earlier today. Me and Miranda were talking about that. So anyway,
Nice.
food for thought. Anyway, anything else? But yes, I will get that list for you. And
All right, thank you.
all right,
Appreciate it.
thank y'all.
All right, next we have the planning department report. We have Dave Polson here, town planning. Good stuff.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Like the police department, we were busy in planning last month. I think every board and commission and committee we have had a meeting, so it's just a busy time during the year. So in the month of September, planning issued 44 permits, and they broke down as the 16 new single-family homes and duplex units, These were in the Champions Village section, Canterbury Lane, Morton Farm, and Merchants Gate. That's where these houses were built. We had 4 interior renovations, 1 new pool, 4 new roofs, 7 electrical and mechanical permits, 8 encroachment permits, 2 accessory structures, and 2 other permits that included grading, building additions, and decks. As I mentioned, we had a lot of board meetings. On September the 4th, staff prepared and assisted the Board of Zoning Appeals with their monthly meeting where they considered 2 items on their agenda. One of the items was an appeal from the Pendleton Candy Company where they're appealing code enforcement action on the signs. The board at this meeting received some information they wanted to get some more information on, so they postponed any decision on the Pendleton Candy Company until we can have a work session. I'm gonna try and schedule that for the 16th of this month, but I haven't narrowed that down just yet, so we're working towards that. They also heard an appeal from Fast Bay Automotive, operating a business without a license in a residential area. Unfortunately, we only had 4 of the 5 members of the Board of Zoning Appeals show up that night, and the votes were 2 were for and 2 against. So because we didn't have a majority vote, we're going to have to come back and bring that at a different time. So those are the things that went on in the Board of Zoning Appeals. On September the 8th, staff assisted with the TIF district public charrette that we had at the elementary school. This was a really good event, had a good amount of people that show up and got some really good feedback. We had all of our boards that we were talking about the TIF district ordinances, the design ordinances, as well as Calhoun Boulevard, both the design for that and the trails and greenways for that area. If anybody's interested, all the boards that were on display during the charrette are out there in the hallway. So feel free to make any comments. I think we're heading in the right direction with this. We got to the point where our design ordinance is ready to go to the Planning Commission to start the approval process and get that to you guys so that you can see that as well. On September the 9th, we attended the Placemakers public meeting presented by the MRB group at the Riverside Middle School. This was another great event. There was a lot of people showed up, had some really good feedback. I know they're trying to figure out what to do with the school once they move to the high school. So there's a lot of great comments, a lot of great feedback given on that. On September the 11th, planning assisted with the Pendleton Planning Commission's regular monthly meeting. At this meeting, they had an application from the Center Park Group asking for a major change to the PUD located on Cherry Street Extension. The commission, after deliberating this and hearing from the developer, decided to unanimously deny the request for the major change for the planned unit development, leaving the senior living facility as a requirement. Also on September the 29th, staff worked with the MRB group, finally got our UDO committee back together. We've had a really good meeting, got some things we're working through, trying to get, a complete draft together so we can get that through the process. So we're getting close. We still got some things we've got to iron out, but I think we're getting a little bit closer on that. During the month of October, we had a design review board on the 2nd, and then on October the 9th, we have our planning commission meeting. So that's all I have for my report. I'll be glad to try and answer any questions that you might have.
So what does it mean that they deny the request?
So it would still come to you guys if the developer wants to. It would just come with a negative recommendation from the planning commission. So. Is that it? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Judge. All right, next we have the administrator's report from Steve Miller here.
Our bill date for last month was 9/18. You might notice that our revenues were significantly down as we leave the summer and start going into the fall and winter. We billed 9,200,000 gallons of water for $93,000, 8,777,000 gallons of sewer for $115,000. We had 1,934 inside the town limit sewer connections and 1,976 inside water connections. 63 multifamily flat rate, 503 single family. We were down 1 connection overall from the month prior. We billed $33,390 in the flat rate building. We rented the depot building 3 times, Barracks Place 10 times. We collected 6,566 in business license, 27,803 in motor vehicles, and $971 in property tax. We had 754 in-house transactions for $2,077,000. Don't think I have to keep saying we are building a waste treatment plant, so we don't normally collect that much money. We had 1,175 online transactions. That's 172,733. That's 68 open forms transactions are included in there for 72,940. And last year at this time, we had 896 transactions for a total of 76,468. Clemson Community Care assisted 4 utility customers. We had told council last week about our work order system, or last month about our work order system. We had already been looking at new work order systems. We've actually signed a contract with Civics Plus. Civics Plus is currently the vendor for both Anderson County and the city of Anderson. And they have an app. If we so choose, we can download an app and use that for reporting. General updates. Again, you already heard somebody mention the capital sales tax. That's still very important to us. It's very important to the county. That'll be on your November ballot. On sanitation, we're going to start changing how we run sanitation. We're going to add another truck to the route because the trucks are coming in overweight, and we need to get them back under 46,000 total pounds. And they're coming in enough that we need to put that second truck and split the route. That's going to give us some problems with our street department because they're going to be the one riding the truck until we can get, if y'all approve the new truck tonight, until we can get that one in, where that one only needs 1 personnel to run. But we also have brush and leaves going on right now, which is also putting some extra pressure on those crews. So you will probably see the right-of-ways, the signage, a lot of the work orders that we need for streets actually taking a little bit longer. With that being said, we did just approve $13,900 in pothole repairs. You can see the roads there, and we're working on getting out a quote. We have $80,000 in the budget to do some major road repairs, and so we're going to be working on that in the next couple of months to get that out. Central Road, we have everything in. We hit some bad soil because of where it's located at. So we had to do a lot of work with the soil, putting in some geotech mats and some stone to hold up the new pump station. But what we're waiting on right now is our platform to come in from the manufacturer so we can continue construction on it. And with the state granting us 400 and something thousand more dollars, I have asked them to provide us a change order on what it would take for the generator at that facility. It's a much smaller facility, so it doesn't need one of these big, huge generators like we run at Westinghouse, which is probably a $150,000 generator. And we might have enough between what the state has given us and what we have in our bond in order to put that in there, and that will help in the future. Waste treatment plant, we actually have the reactor basins under test right now. There are 3.4 million gallons of water in there that we have. So far, it hasn't leaked. That's a good thing. We have finished the roof on the lab, and we have finished construction of the new electrical building 1. Next month, we're hoping to bring in the electrical building 1 and start installing the piping into the reactor unit. EPA, government shutdown.
Yeah.
So, we sent them everything they'd asked for to send it out to the travel, the federal government travel authority to send back out. That may get back out this week. It may not get back out this week. But that's the only approval we're waiting on in order to start that grant. Winston Street, we're about 50% done with the sidewalk installation there. We've ordered security cameras and flock cameras, so we're waiting for those to come in, and those will be put up. And then we should be finished with most of the stormwater that we're installing today on Winston Street, and we're waiting for Christmas time for the Christmas break. We have a section on Riverside we need to dig out and replace. But we didn't find that until after we started Winston Street where it collapsed. We have the draft RFQ ready to go out. We're working with the architect to get that out for the Seymour, for Veterans Park and Town Hall. And of course, the TIF district, we are one of 44 agencies across the state. We're competing for 24, well, we're competing for a pot of $24 million between 44 applicants for $1 million for greenways. So we will see if we're awarded that, we'll be awarded that in October of 2026. And then Anderson County has a special fund from the fuel spill. So we're going to that board next week to present for a $100,000 grant. If they approve it, they may also approve 2 consecutive, so it'd be $300,000 total. Next month, we're going to have a meeting with council with exhibit of land of what we need to acquire. And we're going to have a discussion with y'all about how y'all want us to go about acquiring it. We also have the agreement for the town of Central. The attorney's finishing drafting that to send over to Central's attorney. Riverside Middle School, there was a meeting, well, there was supposed to be a meeting today, and I think it got canceled. Yeah.
Right.
So they are, I think Jeff and Barbara are going to talk to some of the other partners based on the last meeting we had, and I think they're going to push out that timeline in order to get some stuff back on Riverside. And then Bruce parking lot you have on your agenda tonight for consideration and approval.
I had a question about, as part of the Winston Street project, will there be kind of a brush cleanup along both sides of the road? Because there's been some preliminary brush clearing, but there's still a couple of very overgrown lots that are kind of spilling over. And then I just wanted to make sure that, I know they're kind of coming down from, or they're coming east, but several residents have reached out just saying that there's a lot of stuff still out there in the way, making it look bad.
Yeah, so I think I know what you're talking about. Yes, they're going to get that. They had to get the parts to Duke Power to come in and install the lights first, and then we're getting the rest of them after that, and they've got a lot of it.
Okay.
They were down at Keys and the new Silver Springs last week. There's a pole in there, and we had to clear all of that for Duke. And then they will come up between Riverside and Thompson. There's some that will be on your left side now as you go down. We're going to get that whole side
Okay.
cleaned
Good.
in there.
All right. And in Forest Hills, did they go through there and clear all the right of ways?
Water and sewer or for electrical?
I don't know. It looked like somebody took like a deforester or something
Y'all
just
been out
down the
there?
side of the road. Like Stratford, Westminster.
We did.
Okay. Looks good. We'll take more of that. I know you guys are like, well, put those guys on the sanitation truck, but anyway, thank you.
Just a quick question about the TIF district money. Is the 100,000 dependent on the other or the totally
Totally
independent?
separate. So one of them has to be used more for watershed protection. And one of them can be used for construction, so.
Good.
Do we have an idea of just with the TIF, when we could be starting like some of the putting pipes in the ground? The type of infrastructure that I know we're building the plan and getting things done, but do we know, hey, is this?
Your plans are in for approval on the water and sewer. You've got $1 million grant from the federal government that's going to be used on that. So that will, as soon as we can get those plans approved, we know the money's there, that will go out to bid.
Okay.
So that will probably be in the next 12 months. And then depending on these 2 grants and some property acquisition, which we need y'all to tell us how to do, the greenways, can get to 50 and then shortly after 90% design. They're going to present to y'all 2 different ways to get to Queen Street, which will drive some of the pricing on it.
Okay.
And then once we know that, and then we know these grants, we'll be able to tell you.
We'll have more clear
Yeah.
time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Next, we have our strategic plan update from our plan coordinator, Councilwoman Lynn Merchant.
Thank you. The strategic teams met September the 17th for their second quarterly reporting meeting, where all the teams were able to hear the progress reports of the other teams, and all worksheets and progress reports are now available to all the team members on SharePoint. They are also being shared through a system of emails to the team leads. We feel that better communication increases the effectiveness of all the teams. We also utilized some new techniques or new procedures to ensure that the meeting was timely and effective. And I want to thank everybody from the committee that served on that to help update those procedures. We have decided to align the strategic teams year with the town's fiscal year so that the quarters match up. So although that was the second quarterly meeting, the teams will now be working on their second quarter. And we're just kind of doing a fallback to make that align. It's just going to be easier for the communication and teamwork. Team one is working on a branding initiative. They have released the RFP after extensive work with the teams and with a number of community members. The RFP was released on October the 3rd, and the bids are due by November the 6th. I think those are the correct dates. Team two has developed a survey for all employees to take anonymously to give some feedback on incentives and directions for benefits and incentives to improve. We hope to improve employee satisfaction. And the team hopes to be able to give guidance. It's a guidance document to the staff and administrators and to council to improve job satisfaction and the performance of employees, as well as assist in recruiting top-level employees. The team has also done preparing an evaluation document. I think they're still waiting on a couple of those evaluations to be complete, but if we can get those completed within the next 60 days, that will give that team the ability to prepare the report back for the annual meeting. Team three has completed its wayfinding and budget fact sheets projects. It's continuing to work on the vision elements clarifications, and we are also starting our work on developing a business plan for the town. So we'll working on getting some demographics, and then we'll be deciding next steps based on the information that we have available to us.
So what is the employee satisfaction rate at this time?
That document has not been released yet, that survey.
But you had nothing,
We have no data going in, or none to my knowledge.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. All right, thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
All right, next we have some action items. The first, which will be consideration of award of bid for parking lot and utility improvements behind the Brews at the Square. And you've got the information in the packet there. I'm going to turn this over, I guess, to Steve to hit a few high points on it.
The low apparent bid on the project with the non-alternates was $598,704. With both of the alternates was $769, $761. That was by the same construction company. We had two alternates to price in there. We had an allowance for EV charging stations, and then we had to go back and up to the concrete for aggregate base. You can see both of those there. The total for the concrete and the charging stations is $769, $761. If you look at your project ordinance for the project, you had authorized $760,920. So if you want to approve the maximum, which is the concrete charging stations and the base bid, you are short $104,934, and that is $8,842 is the construction difference between the 769 and the 760 that's approved in the budget. We have to supply the electrical cabinet, which are the same two electrical cabinets you have on the Village Green, We have some allowances up in there for upsizing the meters on Exchange Street side. We put the new water line in there for some of the businesses. And then potential right-of-way acquisition, and then adding back in your contingency of 76,092. If you choose to go that route, the question was, what do you take it from? Well, it's not what you take it from. The next is your trial balance of 787,729. That is your cash on hand in hospitality. Of that cash on hand, the next 5 things are what they're committed to. 235 to Mechanic Street, 125 to Brews, 173 to Exchange, 81,000 to Veterans Park Reserve. That is, if something happens at the park, you have money to go. If you have a hurricane, you have money to fix it. And then the 56,000 for the greenways that y'all approved a couple months ago. That leaves you 116,760 uncommitted. If you approve the bid tonight, any of them, the 125 and the 173 automatically come out of your fund balance. It's moved over into the project ordinance. That's $298,000. So you would subtract 298 from the 787. That would give you the difference in what you would have in funds. And then you can add the 104 back in there from your 116 uncommitted funds. That leaves you 16,000 uncommitted cash left, or 14,000 uncommitted cash. And then you would have to wait and see what your uncommitted cash is at the end of this fiscal year. So you have a couple choices. You can approve the base bid at 598. You can approve the base bid and the one alternate for EVs at 747. You can choose the base bid and alternate number 2 at 721, which will not have the EV stations. You can approve the whole thing. The reason why you are doing a hard bid, so you can't negotiate with the contractor until you approve the bid. If y'all approve the bid, then we can go back and do what they call value engineering, and then we can start talking to the contractor because we have a contractor under contract. So it's up to y'all which one, which of those 4 y'all want to award.
Well, the thing is, if we go with whatever we fund and not have the EV, we're going to be chasing our tail to put EVs in
That's
later.
correct. Yes.
So I just think that we need to go with the award the full bid with both alternatives.
Yeah, the concrete should last a lot longer. I mean, just because if parking lot people turn in their tires back and forth, it's just a lot better than asphalt. I guess especially when asphalt is subjected to a lot of heat. So in the long run, that's definitely better, but it's a matter of money here. So it's whatever council's pleasure, but I think I'd be in favor of it all.
So you can probably award, you can definitely award the base plus alternate 1 and still have enough left over to complete everything we have to complete on our end and enough contingency. We could probably do the base bid and alternate 2 at 721, and it would be tight, but we could probably get it done. Then you wouldn't have the EV. And I'm kind of like Barbara. We would just be chasing ourselves going back, because you need to be able to install the conduit. You need to be able to install everything from that electrical cabinet.
Before the pavement goes.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess my question would be, and it says this Exchange Street sewer improvement, all of that will be done and resolved for the 30 years that the concrete's going to last us, the cement's going to last us. I mean, we're going to have all those problems resolved.
I would say yes, because that's going to be a fairly passive system in there.
Okay.
And even if something was to happen, like the pipe was to collapse, this time when we do it, we'll probably be able to reburst them back in place and not dig it up if we have to do a major change. But most of our sewer is lasting probably on 50 years that you're gonna get out of, especially with the type of pipe that you're putting in. So I would say it's gonna last the life of that concrete.
Okay. All right, well, so I'll make a motion that we do both. Take the bid and the two alternatives.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. All right, moving on here, we got consideration of a request for the town to take over management and ownership of the fireworks for firefighters event held in July. And I'll just read this for the benefit of everyone here. So council is asked to consider a request to bring fireworks for firefighters under town's management, making it an official town event. A proposal has been submitted by the event coordinator in collaboration with the Pelham Volunteer Fire Department and is attached for review. Following the review, staff has evaluated the potential impact on the town of taking over the coordination of the fireworks for firefighters. While the event is recognized as an important community gathering, several factors prevent challenges for the town at this time. The timing of the event falls directly in the middle of the launch of the Identity and Culture Project being led by Strategic Direction Team number 1. Managing both along with daily duties would place an additional strain on existing staff resources. In order for the community engagement manager to continue fulfilling their regular duties, this would require the addition of one full-time staff member in this department dedicated to event coordination and support. While council previously approved staff time for the Friends of Main Street program, staff have not been able to devote the level of attention intended to this initiative, along with others, due to existing workload demands. Taking on an additional major event would further limit staff's ability to provide meaningful support to Friends of Main Street and other initiatives. The event was not included in the fiscal year 25 budget. Supporting it under the town's umbrella would require a budget amendment and the allocation of additional funds. And while the town values this event and understands its significance to the community, it would be best for the event to remain under a separate organization at this time, we feel. This will ensure the event's success and sustainability while allowing the town to stay focused on key initiatives already underway. But it's council decision. So having said that, what's council's pleasure?
Well, first of all, just President's always done a great job with this, and we just appreciate all she's done over the last 2 years getting the framework for this thing set up. Next year is the 250th anniversary of our country. If we don't have fireworks on July 4th, I don't know when we would ever have again. I mean, so I think we have to bring that into consideration, that we have to get somebody put together, community committee, ad hoc committee maybe, to celebrate our 250th. I don't know if there's already something in the works for that, but if we don't have something on the 250th anniversary, I think our community might not be particularly happy with us.
Can I ask what liability with this type of event coming under the town, what are we looking at as far as liability? And I only ask, this does not say, I have to always say this, this does not say I am against the fireworks, but you know, things can go up quick. And where is that gonna put us? Because I don't need somebody's yard getting, you know, and then, because I done told you, I look good in orange, but not prison orange. So let's look, you know, look at that.
So under the Tort Claims Act, we are a little bit protected.
Okay.
However, to be certain, I would need to reach out to the Insurance Reserve Fund because they may have a separate policy we need to buy. I believe what they have been buying, it's not that expensive of a policy.
Okay.
It's $1,000, $2,000. Just shake your head, yes, I'm in the range. Anyway, it's not that expensive of a
Right.
policy. And the Insurance Reserve may sell it because there's tons of cities that do
Right,
fireworks.
right.
We just never have looked into it.
Well, and the other thing that I look at, it seems that every time there is a program that's started by volunteers, then it comes to us to take over. That happened with the green, the what is it? Thank you, Grooving on the Green. And I think people need to realize that there's a limit to what we can put under what Lindsay's job entails.
I think that's what, yeah, exactly.
You know, and that's the thing. And, you know, I understand in this is saying that we would need to hire somebody, but I mean,
Could we look at hiring just a one-off event coordinator?
just for
as
this
a-
one
As a
event,
third party, that could be the 250th.
instead of
They-
hiring a permanent.
They own that event and we get some pricing around what that is.
You could, now, Amber and Lindsay looked at this more. I don't know, when y'all were talking, y'all were just talking
Yeah,
about
well, we
upping the
current-
hours of the
Yeah, we
part-time.
currently have a part-time, he just started yesterday. So we have a part-time person approved in this budget year. But as it starts to compound all these things, if we were to take this on, we'd have to consider moving this position to a full-time position. Because we only
Right.
budgeted 800 hours.
Well,
I just mean we were just talking
I
about
think
the
you're
age.
like a
check.
contract employee to handle this. We'll pay you X number of dollars to.
Just like, if we were gonna have a big banquet and we didn't wanna do it ourselves, because we're not in the banquet business,
right, you'd hire
then you
somebody
hire
to
it
do
out of an event.
I do think, and I was
Company.
not part of the committee, but when the town did the 225, that was not a town, that was all community driven, wasn't it? So I mean, you might just go back to another community and say, this is gonna be the 250 community committee.
But that still doesn't address the continuance of the fireworks for firefighters. All this does is put it into what we're going to do for the upcoming 250th.
That will get us through this July.
Right,
We can
right.
decide on the
Right,
budget,
a year.
is whether we want to fund another person to keep
Well,
on an ongoing
And the
basis.
other thing is, could we look at some alternatives to fireworks? Because a lot of people are now going towards drones and light shows. And I think that's something we should look at as well.
So I happen to know the guy at the university that did the drone show.
That was really cool too. by the way.
Yeah.
I saw it.
So we could ask, I don't know, Lindsay, if you could have some information back about how you would contract it out next month.
Sure.
And then they just sent me a message, the fireworks, contractor carries a $10 million insurance policy.
Okay.
On his indemnifies. That would be, if y'all want to have it next month and have Lindsay see if she can come back with maybe what she thinks it would take to put it on from either hiring a contractor or having more hours of the part-time person there.
And I think one of the things we need to, and I know I've been told it's not our job to educate the public, but I think that we need to let people know, we appreciate good ideas. We appreciate volunteer-driven activities. And they need to realize what it involves. I think a lot of people get into this and then they realize, oh, wow, it's more than I can chew. So, I think that because I don't think it's sustainable for us to, every time somebody does something, they bring it to us after a few years and say, we can't sustain this. It needs to go to the town. That's just my 2 cents. And maybe tarnished pennies, but hey.
Yeah, maybe get more information would be good. For years, it was done by Pembroke Homes for several years. I know they took it upon themselves to do it, then some other people and some businesses, so they just funded it and went after it and used it for advertising purposes. And there might be a possibility of some of that help.
Yeah.
From somebody. Maybe even though, we have a big manufacturing company in town now, Ortec, they're very community driven. And maybe they would want to jump in. I can't say they would, but it's a thought. So I think maybe coming back with some more information might be good, in my opinion.
And one of the things that was listed in the package we were given was that we need to continue looking at using sponsors. That's not something that's cut off. And I think also that we should look to having volunteers that can work with Lindsay. You know, we do the volunteers to come and clean up the town. Well, maybe we need to start looking for volunteers to help put on various events and things like that. You know, that could be something for extra credit, could also be something for detention if your child's bad. But, you know, trying to kind of get more people involved in the actual process of the things that we do for this town. If we're gonna be community driven, we need to be community driven.
Okay. So, I
Do we
guess,
need a motion or we just
I think we need a motion for, to just set.
to do more study?
Do more study, give, yes, let staff get more information, come back.
So moved.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
All right, motion second, all in favor? Motion carries, thank you. All right, so we're going to move on to consideration of waiving fees and insurance requirement for special events again here. So you've seen the list of this, but I'll read it for everybody's benefit. Council will consider approval of the following community events and associated requests, and will also consider requests for the waiver of special event fee and insurance requirement. So we have Pendleton Pride in Motion and Keep Pendleton Beautiful Annual Fall Cleanup Day, and that's Friday, October 18th. That's coming up. Request police presence on Brown Road from 8:30 to 11:30 to ensure the safety of participants. Estimated cost there is $135. Jazzercise Fitness, the date there is Sunday, October 19th. Fee there would be $140. World Day of Prayer is Monday, November the 3rd, and the approximate fee there, $130. And there's a little more information behind it over here, if you've noticed, as to what, you know, just including all the little details about it. Hopefully y'all seen that. Having said all that,
I just want to make the note that October the 18th is Saturday rather than Friday.
oh, yes, that is right. Thank you. That is correct. So, what's council's pleasure on that?
I make a motion to,
Approve it.
yes,
All of it.
approve waiving all the fees and insurance requirements for the special events this month.
Okay, have a motion.
Second?
Got a second. Motion and a second. All in favor? Raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. All right. So we're going to move on now to consideration of a resolution authorizing the town of Pendleton to piggyback on the North Carolina Sheriff's Association heavy equipment contract for the purchase of a sanitation truck for the Public Works Department. I'm going to let Steve explain this one to me.
So when you, we have to do public bids on, actually according to our purchasing ordinance, you're supposed to at least do quotes on anything over $5,000. When it gets to a certain amount, you have to do a full-blown bid. Most of the time, a town our size, especially on heavy equipment, cars and some other things, you just can't get anybody to bid on it because they're either bidding a state contract or they're bidding, essentially what this is a purchasing co-op. And there's a lot of them out there. There was one at the MASC Summer Conference. I can't remember which one that is. But there's two of them. This one in North Carolina and then another one, I can't remember off the top of my head, that compete against both states' contracts. And since it was a publicly bid and they have all the bid documents there, you can see all the bids, you can see everything else, and they can supply it. You're essentially using them in place of you doing a bid. So your question is, well, they doing it for free? No, they're not doing it for free. So what happens to them is they get some percentage on the back end of it after you buy a piece of equipment that's from the suppliers, that's negotiated in the bid. And that's in, I don't know what this is off the top of my head, but there's, you know, they might get 0.5% off the cost of vehicles that's in there.
But essentially, this gives us a better price and also positions us better when we're doing purchasing.
Yeah, so this is the lowest price out there. The state vendor doesn't have equipment they can get in right now. And they actually sent us to AMIC, and AMIC is both on this contract and do you remember the other contract? Sourcewell, thank you. And the Sourcewell contract, and between the two, this is the cheaper of those two. So, and that's all piggybacking is you're just using somebody else's work
Right.
to meet your statutory standards of bidding.
Okay.
And that's legal to do.
Okay. Interesting.
I approve. I make the motion, we approve.
All right, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second?
Wait a second.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. All right, motion carries, unanimous. All right, so next, we have consideration of a resolution authorizing the sole source purchase of a demonstration truck for a leaf vac. Apparently, we got a pretty good deal here on one that's slightly used. It has 1,344 miles on it and 52 hours of operation for a $40,000 discounted price, which sounds pretty good to me.
Motion to approve.
Okay, you got a motion, we got a second?
Don't you got a lot of pages to read on this one?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of pages.
Show
I
them your book,
just
show them
wanted
your
to
book.
see him throw a 2x4 through there and make sure it doesn't break. You know?
Yeah, that's right. I think it'd hold up.
All right. Because that other one went squirrely real fast.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, so we do have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Unanimous. Thank you. All right, and next we have consideration of a resolution authorizing the disposal of surplus personal property to the Pendleton Recreation Association in accordance with the town's disposal of surplus property policy. Can't really say that one. So, guess y'all had a chance to look that over. So is there a motion on that? So go ahead and
Motion to
ask.
approve.
Okay, so
Second.
that's basically a lawnmower we're giving them, just so everybody knows. Okay. So we have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous.
Now, they know we're not gonna cut it. We're not gonna use it ourselves. We're not part of that deal, okay?
Barbara, we already
Barbara,
put
we
a
already
plaque with your
volunteered
name
you.
on it.
There's some days I volunteer.
And then it's
There are
gonna
days like
say,
that.
this machine is community driven.
As long as it's a nice plaque.
As long as it's nice.
We get it
And
shined
an
up real good.
Yeah, and an umbrella. Yes. I never wanted to wear my head.
All right. So next, we have consideration of a resolution, Town Council, Town of Pendleton, notifying Anderson County of the town's interest in providing sewer to certain parcels. So I'll read this a little bit here. On September 9th, 2025, a developer contacted Anderson County regarding a proposed development project. The county directed the developer to the town to explore the possibility of annexing the property. The developer has since reached out to the town regarding the development of this area. This area is not currently included in the town's expanded sewer service area and does not currently have sewer service. They're located within the Sandy Spring water service area for water. And council is asked to consider a resolution notifying Anderson County of the town's interest in providing sewer service to these parcels in accordance with the agreement between the town and the county.
Motion to approve.
I
Do
have,
we have pipe in the ground?
Okay, I think we have a question here first.
yeah,
We have pipe probably within about 400 feet of the property line. But they would have to upsize. They would have to build down to there and upsize.
Okay.
I don't know particularly what all they're wanting to build right now, but I think it's gonna be a commercial building.
That
and
would make sense.
so they don't want to annex into the town.
They do not want to annex into the town, and the county, since we cleaned up all that language, the county is giving us first right to refuse. So this is to ask the county to let us have it. They will still have to make a decision on their end. I don't remember the time frame, but they have to make a decision on their end to service it. And the problem is we both have a line within a few hundred feet of this. So,
Okay, but if they're not annexed, we won't have any control over what's there, what it looks like,
that's correct.
how much traffic it causes on 187, any of those kind of things.
That's correct.
That's right.
And it's all hinging on who's gonna get the utility. If the county keeps the utility, the developers basically said they're not annexed. So, I don't think.
But, I mean,
But
is this a
wouldn't
deal
be
where
a fee
we,
in lieu.
No,
is this a deal where we would provide it but not require them to annex? Is that what they're asking for?
no, they know that if we
If we
get to provide it, they're gonna have.
They're gonna annex
Well,
it.
it's definitely worth providing it to annex.
That's right.
That's what I was just concerned that they would
Absolutely.
have sewer without.
Without annexation.
Yeah, no, yeah, that ain't. Yeah. Okay, so right
I'll
now,
I'll
Okay.
second Barbara's
all right.
motion.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. All right, now, we come to item 6H here, but I understood just a little while ago that this has been withdrawn. We have a letter here from Center Park Group, Mark Matheson, who has requested that this item be withdrawn. So we are going to withdraw this item at this time.
I think just for the record,
Get a
I'm
motion.
gonna pull my David Root out. Can we get a motion that
Yeah.
y'all withdraw?
No, you're probably right. Let's get a motion. They're asking for it to be withdrawn. Let me just-
Motion to withdraw 6H.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. All right, now we're going to go to 6I, which is consideration of a resolution requesting funds allocated by the town of Pendleton to the Pendleton Volunteer Fire Department. So make sure to get this right. The Pendleton Fire Department has submitted its first formal request for funding under the terms of the fiscal year budget, fiscal year 2025 budget appropriation, and the funding agreement between the town and Pendleton Fire Department. These funds were allocated by council to support the department's operational and equipment needs as part of the ongoing service to the community. And there's about a lot of details. If anybody's got any questions or comments, if not, we'll entertain a motion.
I thought it looked good. I make a motion to approve.
Okay, we
Second.
have a motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. All right, next we have consideration of a resolution accepting the updated policy and procedure manual for the Pendleton Police Department. This is a mandatory policy review that is conducted by the SCCJA every 36 months. This audit was completed and approved by them on July 25th. And I started thumbing through there. That's a pretty good one right there. I expect Robbie could recite this to us. Could you, Robbie?
I wrote it.
So,
If you want to quiz him on it,
Yeah, what's
yeah,
your
maybe
favorite
ask a few
part?
questions there, Robbie. On page 231, item 3.2.6, what does that say? Yeah, so, yeah, something's pretty much got to be done.
Yeah.
So do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All right, have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Unanimous. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that was a good one. Okay, next we have consideration of a resolution recommending Pendleton Town Council release a temporary letter of credit performance bond for $16,462.50 for on-site improvements in phase one of the development, the preserve at Pendleton. So basically, they've come through and held up their end of the bargain. This is Mark III properties. That was for on-site improvements. On January 6, 2022, these improvements were inspected by town staff and found to be completed. And Ms. Sarah Caslin of Mark III Properties is now asking that the bond be released for this phase of the development. The infrastructure has passed its warranty period, and we must return the bond to the owners.
We must.
We must. So do we have a motion? Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries unanimous. All right, and next we have consideration of first reading of an ordinance to amend the business license ordinance in accordance with the Business License Standardization Act. Town Council is asked to adopt this license ordinance, this business license ordinance. Due to that act, the town is required to adopt the latest standardization license class schedule as required by the Standardization Act, and to make other minor amendments as recommended by the South Carolina Municipal Association. This new ordinance must be passed by December 31st this year. The 2026 business license fees are not increasing, but some business licenses may increase or decrease just to a new schedule class.
Again, if we must approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. All right, next we have consideration of second and final reading of ordinance to amend Article 3, Section 3-6, subsection 3H1 and Section 3-7, subsection 3H1 of the Town of Pendleton zoning ordinance and change the review process for a request for a major change to an approved planned unit development, commonly known as a PUD, or flexible review district, commonly known as an FRD. Background is, at its regular meeting on June 3rd, Pendleton Town Council directed staff to review and update the current process for requesting a major change to property zoned as planned unit development or flexible review district to ensure compliance with South Carolina state law. Under the existing town ordinance, all major change requests must be first approved by town council before being reviewed by the planning commission. However, state law requires the planning commission to review such requests first and provide a recommendation to town council. Amending this ordinance will bring the process into alignment with state law, improve public transparency, and streamline the review procedure. At Pendleton Town Council's regular meeting on August 5th, 2025, council unanimously resolved to accept the Pendleton Planning Commission's recommendation to amend this ordinance and change the process. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. All right, now motion second, all in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, next we have consideration of second and final reading of an ordinance authorizing the execution of an encroachment agreement with Main Exchange LLC to allow certain encroachment on public right-of-way to install a side entrance at 102 Exchange Street. This ordinance authorizes the execution of a non-monetary lease or agreement with Main Exchange LLC, permitting the installation of the side entrance at 102 East Main Street that encroaches on the public right-of-way. Main Exchange LLC has identified additional encroachment items that need repairs conducted during construction or future consideration of use. These include items such as grease traps, roof drainage, foundation waterproofing, future balcony sports, and table dining areas. Main Exchange has offered to replace and expand the existing sidewalk to accommodate these uses. The town's current encroachment ordinance does not allow staff to approve this type of encroachment. Therefore, approval must be granted through a non-monetary lease or agreement with private property owner for encroachment on public property. These agreements are often called encroachment agreements and provide the necessary authorization to use the public property. This is the second and final reading of this ordinance. At an earlier council meeting, council approved the first reading with the body of the encroachment agreement included, but not the work to be included. This current agreement consists of work and exhibits of the work location. Any questions? If not, do I hear a motion?
I move that we accept the encroachment agreement.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, motion carries unanimous. And that leads us to our final item, number 7, which is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you, folks. We appreciate everyone coming out tonight.
Now, Steve, are we signing everything or we